fundamental number 2, learn how to quiet the mind, improve focus, and relax the body. And David begins this fundamental by saying the ability to focus or concentrate on what you choose will provide you with a supreme personal development tool that transcends golf. Now, we all know golfers' heads tend to be just full of mental chatter.
For sure, we're challenged every day out in the golf course with a lot of different hazards and different things that can happen to us, and we're always thinking and getting in our own way, thinking too much.
Yeah, and we have a lot of time to think.
Well, yeah, for sure. Between those shots is very important.
And it's not a reaction sport either. It's something, it's not like a football or a soccer or tennis or one of these things where we just have to react. We've got time to sit there as the ball's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And
stew.
Create, you know. The first thing he talks about is a few different techniques, proven techniques throughout the history of time, which allow us to control our mind or quieten our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one being meditation. The ability to be able to sit down and focus on something. And that'll bring us to the exercise that he gives us at the end of Fundamental 2.
Well, being able to do something like that on a golf course, to be able to reset after a bad hole or something like that and quieten the mind is hugely beneficial. A lot of amateur golfers might have a terrible front nine, and invariably they'll come back with a better back nine because at halfway they reset and they quieten the mind and they tend to purge all of the bad stuff that happened in the front nine.
And a lot of the time that expectation is gone.
Yes.
I'm 5 over my handicap now anyway, so everything tends to relax. There's no expectation on the outcome. There's no outcome-based thinking. It's just stand and deliver.
And there's less thinking going on.
Exactly right.
But what we really need to be able to do is to be able to reset after a bad shot.
And we need, and like technique, like anything to do with golf, we need some tools and some triggers to be able to do this.
And be able to do it quickly, because out in the golf course, you can't just sit there and meditate for 5 minutes.
Absolutely. But we need to also be able to work on these things pre-game.
Yeah.
Before we can get good at doing it on the course when it matters. What I like about David's thing is not only he says like his example is focus on a golf ball, which is an object.
Yep.
Pretty clear.
I've got one here. You're going to talk me through how to do this because I haven't done this type of thing before.
So he talks about focusing on the golf ball. It's very easy to focus on. If I ask you now, focus on a Titleist golf ball. You can get a very clear picture in your mind of what that ball looks like.
Well, I've got a Strix one here.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Well, for this, it's okay, yeah. So I want you to focus on that ball. And this is something that you do while you're sitting at home, in your couch, or just with your eyes closed even. But this one we'll do eyes open. But we're just going to, we'll do this as a demonstration, but in the long term, we want to be able to do this completely eyes closed. But what we're going to do is we're going to focus on that ball.
Okay, I'm focusing on it.
But then we're going to focus on one dimple on that ball. So we're going to take that focus and narrow it down and laser focus on that one dimple.
Right, I got one dimple.
And then I want you to imagine that one dimple where it's just a really bright light coming out of that dimple.
Okay, got that.
And then all I want you to do, for as long as you can, is focus on that white light with no other thoughts.
Oh, I got distracted.
Yeah, because...
So I heard a car going past and then got distracted.
Yeah, and it's okay to be aware of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get good at it, and over a period of time, you're able to just slowly bring yourself back in better and better and better and better.
Of course, what you're talking about, if you're relating this to a tour pro, they talk about the zone quite a lot, don't they?
Yes.
Being in the zone. And this is pretty much what we're talking about here. And it's not just for elite players, is it?
It's exactly the zone, yeah. And it's not for elite players at all, but it's for players who have practiced it. Yeah. It's for players who are aware of it. It's for players who, don't like to use the word believe, but it's for players who trust it. Mm-hmm. And then it's for players who work on it.
Yeah. It's concentration.
It's exactly concentration. And he talks about concentration and talks about the definition of concentration. And he says, concentration is your ability to stay focused on what you choose while you choose to. Mm-hmm. It allows us to be able to choose on what we want to focus on at any given time that we want to do it.
Most amateur golfers, those thought processes are chosen for them. They don't really have control over them. All sorts of things coming in.
Yes, bad habits.
Thinking about holes that have gone past. And how long should or could a session take to actually be some benefit? I mean, because it's something you could just sit down and work on for 5 minutes?
5 minutes a day.
Okay.
It really is as simple as that.
Yep.
And do it visually at first if you want to. Sit down at your kitchen table, put the golf ball in the middle of the table.
Yep.
Find that dimple. Imagine that, visualize that spot, and just focus on it. And every time something tries to creep in, your mind says, oh, you've got to fight, and it'll try and do it.
Yeah.
You just rein it back in and go back to focusing on it, and rein it back in and go back to focusing on it. And then I'd like to try without a golf ball.
Yeah, okay.
Because what we need to be doing is we need to be walking down the fairways, staying in the present, looking at everything around us, being aware of the trees, being aware of the grass, being aware of our playing partners, but literally just staying there.
Yeah.
Not thinking about anything other than...
A lot of amateur golfers are actually quite good at that between shots.
Sure.
Especially if they're just social golfers, they're not that concerned over
Chatting
the
with
result.
their buddies.
Yeah, and that's great, and that gives them their brain a rest, and they are staying in the present. What I find with a lot of better golfers, elite golfers, is that it means so much to them that they're the ones that really struggle in between shots because they're thinking about the future shot, they're thinking about the past all the time, and a lot of them walking down, head down like this, and really engaged all the time, not giving their brain a rest at all.
I think you're right. You can sit up on the balcony on the 18th at any given comp day, and you can say, he's playing well, he's just bogeyed, he's just had a shocker, and it's all in their body language. And again, that's taking you out of the present. If you're slumped and you can tell that they're really thinking about the 2 holes that they've probably just buggered up, or the round that they've just buggered up.
Yeah.
And if their shoulders are back and they're pumped, if they're really walking hard, you can probably see that they're thinking about their round. They're thinking about maybe this is the best.
And then overexcitement.
And again, that's taking you outside of what you're trying to achieve, and that is just thinking about how you are going to produce the best shot you can on the next shot. And so being able to stay in that quiet, relaxed mental state, physical state throughout the round we talk about that, we're just trying to be on a much more even keel, trying to,
And we've all made those mistakes, of course we have.
We still do, and it will transcend into your normal everyday life.
Yeah, of course.
Dealing with any situations, being able to respond to something and not react, and all of those really powerful skills.
And we want ourselves and any golfer to be able to go home and not have the score change their demeanour or affect their mood.
Absolutely.
That's not healthy.
Your score has nothing to do with your self-worth as a person, and it
shouldn't determine your happiness for the weekend.
Absolutely. But it doesn't as a player either.
No.
And fundamental too is so important to us, quietening the mind and being relaxed through your round. And
learning how to focus.
Absolutely. And in this free guide that you've been given, there's some great techniques for you to be able to do that. So I hope you enjoy it.
Thanks very much for watching, and look for us tomorrow for our next video on Fundamental 3, which is?
You got me.
That's visualizing, isn't it?
No, it's mental imagery.
Oh, mental imagery. Oh, I was close. See you tomorrow.
See you. Cheers.